Version of my journal. I'm Stephanie Rivers. Me, I'm Stephanie, and you're watching my TriCast. And I always say TriCast, although I think I think it's more than a TriCast. I am doing this broadcast on Facebook Live and YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn. So at least four platforms. So thanks for joining and come on in. Welcome to the conversation. I'm Stephanie Rivers, and if you are new to the conversation, be sure, I'm glad you're here, first of all. And if you hear anything that you like, be sure to share this information and then subscribe. So, welcome to my subscribers. We're growing in numbers every day. And thanks so much for your support. And I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and you're looking forward to the new year. Just wanted to stop in and talk to you a few minutes about something that a lot of people have noticed about me and taking out my chill music to help me get started. Um, so for the past 2 years, I've shaved my head and I've worn a bald head in public. Not something that a lot of people would have the courage to do, but I have done it, and it didn't start out um, just straight. One day I had hair, and the next day I shaved it and showed up in public. It was a gradual thing that I did on the weekends. I did it at home. I did it when I worked out only. And then once or twice at work, I would do it. And then eventually I just said to myself, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to talk to you about why I made that decision. But since I made that decision, I've gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of positive feedback, compliments from both men and women, at least to my face. That's what they say. Most people say that, not a lot of people can pull that off. You got to have a certain shaped head. You got to have certain facial features. So I'm glad that it worked out in my favor, that I have the right features and the right shaped head. Someone told me you have the perfect cranium. I'm like, glad it worked out. So yeah, um, that's the feedback that I'm getting from people. And although most people applaud me for having the courage to do that and the confidence to do it, not a lot of people have asked me why I decided to do it, especially since for women, our hair is our crowning glory. It's just a part of our positive image. And that's why a lot of people ask me different questions about, or they compliment me, because it's just not something that a lot of people would do. But I have done it, and I want to explain it to you why after this. Hi, I'm Stephanie Rivers, and I want justice for Breonna Taylor because the police officers involved showed reckless disregard for her life and the lives of her neighbors. Her. So you're saying she essentially died on the floor right there?
The second that she got shot, she was.
Family, did the city of Birmingham, did anybody say, did the church, did anybody say there's more to? Hello, and welcome back to the show. I'm Stephanie Rivers. You're watching my broadcast on various platforms. And today we're talking about my transition to wearing a bald head and why I decided to do that. I understand that a lot of women, most women, they consider their hair to be their crown, a part of their self-image. And I too, I understand that viewpoint because I felt the same way about my hair in the past. But at some point, I realized that the length of my hair and the styles that I had chosen for myself were more about me trying to assimilate, more about me trying to get acceptance in my professional life, more so than how I personally felt, how I wanted to portray myself, and about what was healthier for me. I was making a decision more based on acceptance and and assimilation. And I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore. I was choosing to fit into mainstream America, the mainstream standard, rather than what was better for me. And I decided not to do that anymore. So that's one of the reasons that I started to transition. So when it's kind of like, to start moving towards this wearing my bald head, I started that transition in 2010. I stopped putting relaxers in my hair. I was looking at see if that was a message. I stopped wearing relaxers in my hair in about 2010 or so, and I started doing more natural hairstyles. And then in between those natural hairstyles, I would wear wigs. And for the last 10 years or so, I that was what I did. I wanted people to realize, like India Ari says in her song, I am not my hair, I am not my skin, I am the soul that lives within. And so I just felt like in order for me to break away from trying to assimilate and trying to be accepted by people, because, looking a certain way or having a certain image that they felt comfortable with, I wanted to do more about what I felt comfortable with. And so when I didn't do my natural hairstyles, I would wear wigs just based on what was going on or where I was going, things like that. And then the pandemic happened in 2020, and the modern day lynching of George Floyd happened. And although there have always been racially motivated killings of Black people in America, African Americans in America, and brown people, I especially, it didn't necessarily start with George Floyd, we know that, but it just seemed like an onslaught of racially motivated killings, and that included Elijah McClain in Arizona, Breonna Taylor in Kentucky, and Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia, and just some egregious, in your face disregard for human life issues that we were being faced with as a result of the modern day lynching of George Floyd that exposed all of that. And so that was a harsh awakening for me that let me realize, and it confirmed, because we already know some things, we just choose to not look it head on, face it head on. We think, oh, it's not going to happen to me, or it's not going to happen to anybody who looks like me. And we just, we accept some of the excuses that come along with these racially motivated killings. And at some point, for me, it ended with these most recent events that started happening around 2018, 2019, into George Floyd's modern day lynching of 2020, yes, 2020, that let me know that no matter what I did, no matter what I tried to do, no matter how my hair looked, no matter how many educational degrees that I have, no matter how non-threatening that I wanted to, how I tried to present myself, that no matter what I did and people who look like me do on a daily basis, there are going to be people don't who disregard your humanity. There are going to be people who would rather villainize you than treat you with fairness and humanity and humility. They're just not going to do that. And so that is why I decided to make some changes. Those people are around who will always consider me and everyone who looks like me to be less than, to be beneath them. And that was a reality for me that I said I need to do something about it. And so I did something about it. I wanted to present myself in a way that says, take me or leave me. I'm not going to continue to try to assimilate to the point where I am wearing fake hair or I'm doing something just for a person or a group of people who, in the long run, are never going to accept me and the people who look like me. So that's why I decided to start shaving my head. And I'll get more into details after this.
Recent events got you thinking about tightening up your gun skills? Do you have a gun but never took it to the gun range? Join the club. No, really. The Henry Johnson Gun Club of Dallas is hosting the first annual Precision Games Pistol and Rifle Competition, January 16th in Ferris, Texas. Register to win. Win to receive prizes and bragging rights. Go to the Henry Johnson Gun Club Facebook page for more info. Get ready, stay ready.
Hello, and welcome back to my journal. I'm Steffanie Rivers, and I'm talking about my transition of going from perming my hair to shaving my head and wearing this in public. It's not something that a lot of people, you might not see a lot of women do it, but the more that I have done it and people have come up to me, there are a few women around who are wearing their hair shaved or no hair, wearing the bald head. And for various reasons, I would assume. But for me, it was a transition that started around 2010 when I started to not put perm in my hair because I knew that it was breaking it off and making it weak. And so I didn't want to do that. And as you get older, the texture of your hair changes, and I just knew that my hair was getting weak and breaking off because of the perm. And so I decided to stop doing perms. I went natural, and then I wore wigs every now and then. But in 2020 is when I realized that my dependency on wigs was more about my trying to assimilate and my trying to be accepted and in my professional life. And I no longer wanted to do that. I felt as if, and I know that my performance at my job, at my position, or my performance anywhere was what was most important. And so I decided to focus on my performance and how I treat people and less about how I look. And that's why I started to, in addition to the recent racially motivated killings, led me to say, you know what? If you don't like me and you don't like people who look like me, then you're going to face the reality of this is who she is. So I'm going to be who I am And if you don't like me or you want to harm me in any type of way, you're going to face who I really am. And I'm not going to be concerned about what you think about how I look. I'm not going to be concerned about what you think about how I, who I am in my skin. But you're just going to know that this is a Black woman and she's proud of who she is and what she looks like with or without hair. You're going to take me or you're going to leave me, but you're going to know who I am and that I'm proud of who I am and what I look like. So that's why I decided to shave my head. And sometimes I think that a lot of us are hiding behind, or just we've gotten so used to assimilating, and we've gotten so used to trying to be accepted by people who don't look like us, that we internalize and we feel inferior. We start to build an inferior we have an inferior mentality. That's the wrong word, but we start to develop an inferiority complex about how we naturally look because we're so busy trying to fit in. And so I didn't want to do that. I also realized that for me, maybe God was waiting for me to accept me in order for God to reveal to me what what my rightful place was in the world, in my position, in my profession, in my geography. Am I supposed to be where I live? Maybe if I just reveal myself and be more proud of who He has made me to be, then other things will be revealed to me. But as long as I'm trying to hide who I am, and I'm not saying other people are trying to hide, I'm saying this is how I felt about me. As long as I was not fully proud and showing who I was as a proud, tall, Black woman, bald headed, brown, maybe I wasn't ever going to be in a position where God said, you know what, she's ready for what I want for her to have and for her to be and for where she's supposed to be geographically, financially, all these things, professionally, building a business, because sometimes we are so busy trying to hide who we are, and we're so busy trying to placate others that we end up missing out on what God has in store for us. We miss out on what that X factor might be for you to step out and be the person that you want or the life that you want to live. And so for me, I felt like, okay, Steph, maybe this is the next step in preparing yourself for what God has for you. And that's why I said, you know what? I'm going and I'm gonna shave my head. I'm gonna wear it every day. I'm gonna be proud of it. And I am glad that I made that decision. And I know there are other people who might not be so accepting of who I am and what I represent. And, for y'all, that's okay. That's on y'all. But I am going to do what I feel in my heart is best for me. And I know there are other people out there who know that they need to make some steps in their lives to be ready for their next step, whether it be financial success or geographically. Am I supposed to be where I am right now? Do I have surrounding me the type of people, friends and family, professionally, at church, in my neighborhood, where I want to be? And so, you're out there who you might be trying to decide, how am I going to make this transition? And we've all got our choices to make, and we all have things that we're dealing with in our personal lives that we need to reevaluate and see, am I living my best life? Am I the person who's keeping me from living my best life? And is it somebody else's fault, or is it really your fault because you haven't made the choices? And so some of you right now are probably saying, oh, she putting too much into the decision to shave her head. And it's not necessarily about that decision specifically, but I am just sharing my story with you because for me, this was something that I feel is leading me. It's confirmed for me that I have the confidence to do whatever I want to do. I can walk into a room or walk through an airport or walk through a crowd of people with no hair and feel just as confident and secure about myself, more so than people who have a dependency on whatever um, addition, whatever cosmetic issue that they might have, or cosmetic addition that they've decided to add to their shell. Some people need, or they feel like they need some type of cosmetic addition, whether it be hair, nails, lashes, you know, some type of enhancement, medical enhancement. Some of us feel like we need those things for people to accept us. And I say that if you feel like that, or if somebody is making you feel like that, then you probably are in the wrong atmosphere with the wrong people, because you don't need any additions to yourself. Whatever you have developed in your life, if it's your personality, your skills, whatever you have is probably enough. You don't need any outside adornment to make you any better than who you are and who God has made you to be. So just start there. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe so that the next time that I post new videos, you will be the first to know. So, this is not just about my hair journey, but I'm sharing this because maybe you have some realizations that you need to come to about the people in your life. Maybe your spiritual epiphanies is something that you need to come to terms with, just so you can be a better person as we move forward in life and in going into a new year. And especially, I've spoken with a few people who spent the holiday season with friends and family that they don't necessarily agree with, and it was more of a stress than it was supposed to be a blessing. And so adding unnecessary stress in your life over something that you can change um, is your choice, and it's something that you should look into and not take into 2022 or take into tomorrow or take into next week unnecessary issues along the lines of trying to appeal to people who don't really care about your well-being. In fact, if they could, they would wish you was gone. Okay, so don't spend your time doing that. So what I would have for you, and is my whole reason for even being here, sharing my story with you, is that I would like for you to take this last week of this year to evaluate whether or not you need to make some changes in your life. Maybe it's not shaving your head. Maybe it's doing something else that you know in your heart that you need to do, but you haven't done it for whatever reason. I would suggest, and this is what I have always tried to do, is don't waste your valuable time and money. If it's nothing I hate worse is wasting my time and wasting my money. Don't waste any more of your valuable time and money trying to impress people that you don't like with stuff that you don't have or that you don't need to have. Spend your time and money in a more valuable way, doing more valuable things that are going to make a difference in your life, and not just in your life, but in the generations to come. Because in the end, at the end of it all, it's not about you and it's not about me, it's about the generations that are coming up behind us who are looking, who will, maybe they're not looking at us right now to make changes, but our choices today and how we handle issues today will make a difference in the lives of generations behind us. And so that would be my wish for you today. And in the future, as we move forward, I would hope that you continue to, don't give up hope. I know sometimes it seems like things are not going as planned, or there's so many things to focus on, but pick something and, build an alliance with people who think like you, and that you all can help each other get to the next level. And yeah, make it work. Don't wait for a new year to make changes, to make improvements, but always be consistently trying to improve. ABC, always be consistently trying to improve. And so, to find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. That's at eurweb.com. Thanks and have a super day.